Part 35. The Lucky Bag is Reborn with Space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 341. Chapter 341 Son, Daughter-in-law. Grandma, don't be angry, it's okay if I admit my mistake. I'll make delicious food for you. By the way, I brought you a lot of dried peaches. The dried peaches this time are even more delicious. Zhang Xiaoxiao coaxed the old lady, and her peach varieties were suddenly upgraded. Peach tastes really special now. How did she know that the peach core she threw into the space could actually take root and sprout in the spiritual spring? People don't take the usual path. This time, there are 12 peaches on one tree. Each peach has a different taste and a different effect. Zhang Xiaoxiao has tasted it. Red peaches have a strong blood-enriching effect, green peaches can lower blood pressure and blood sugar, yellow peaches can improve cardiovascular and cerebrovascular diseases, cyan peaches have a strange effect on stroke, and blue peaches look scary, but they are good for tumors. With strong decomposition ability, black peach has the effect of enhancing memory and improving sleep. The rest have their own functions anyway. The result of Zhang Xiaoxiao's experiment was that the growth rate of the peaches on this peach tree slowed down, and she couldn't grow a second one after picking one here and there for half a month. She guessed it was because of the spiritual spring water. The effect is amazing and the speed naturally slows down. Anyway, there are less peaches now, but the effect is scary. Of course, a more important effect is that the quality of peaches has changed. If you eat more peaches before, the effect will be enhanced, but it is definitely not fatal. It's different now. If you eat too many peaches of one variety, more than one peach will cause a reverse state phenomenon. If you eat too much peaches, your memory will be enhanced, and your memory will decline seriously. The dried peaches Zhang Xiaoxiao gave to the old lady were only half a peach, and after they were dried, they were even a pitiful handful. Zhang Xiaoxiao himself felt that he couldn't do anything about it. But she really didn't dare to mess around. Zhang Xiaoxiao began to use his brain to develop the space industry. Not for the purpose of making a fortune, but simply for the benefit of close relatives and friends around me. For example, MRS Song. MRS Song is anemic and hypoglycemic, otherwise she would not love sweets so much. Zhang Xiaoxiao brought packaged dried red peaches. Absolutely excellent quality. It's a pity that there is only a small package. Too many, for fear of something happening. MRS Song looked at such a small bag with disgust and asked aggrievedly. Is this for me, this little? The meaning is very obvious. I dislike Zhang Xiaoxiao for being stingy. The dried peaches this child gives himself usually come in a big bag. Zhang Xiaoxian said, that's because that peach won't harm anyone. It doesn't matter how much you eat. Is not the same as this. Zhang Xiaoxiao held the old lady's arm and acted cute. Grandma, there are quite a few. You will know just by looking at it. This is a blood peach that we rarely find. It has a great blood-enriching effect and has a special effect on your hypoglycemia and anemia. We only produce a few peaches in a year. How many more do you want? Ah! The old lady became energetic when she heard this. Blood peach, I've never heard of it. Is there such a thing? Can it also replenish blood? Zhang Xiaoxiao, that's right. There is no such good thing on the market. We have no other semicolon, we are the only one. The old lady opened the oil paper bag and was shocked when she saw the bright red dried peaches. Although I have seen red and pink peaches, the red color of this peach is a bit special. It is as red as water radish, and after it is made into dried peaches, the color deepens, and it really looks a bit like the color of dried blood. Looking a bit permeable. Pick one up and put it in your mouth. Fang Xiaowai shouted hurriedly. Grandma, don't eat it. The old lady paused for a moment and then discovered that there were two uninvited guests on the carpet in the living room. Looking up and down, my daughter-in-law didn't look very good. Especially when she saw the other party standing on her beloved carpet wearing leather shoes, the old lady's eyes immediately widened. Xiao Lu, what are you doing? Why didn't you change your slippers when you came into the house? You don't know that my carpet is not easy to clean. The old lady is still really looking for faults. You must know that she has always looked down upon this daughter-in-law. She held her son like a jewel in her hands, like a treasure, but she knew it very well in her heart. Before his first daughter-in-law passed away, his son was hooking up with this woman. How did his daughter-in-law die? The old lady is not unclear in her heart. No matter how nice this woman is, she can't get away from the fact that she is a third party in the family. Outsiders may not be able to tell, but the old lady really doesn't like it. Not to mention the knot in Sun Tzu's heart because of this matter. Mother Song's face turned pale. She had forgotten how much the old lady cherished her carpet. But in front of Song Moding, if you don't give yourself a good face, this will make people unable to get off the stage. Mom, I'm so anxious to see you that I forgot about this. I'll change my slippers right away. I went to change into slippers. Fang Xiaowai felt a storm in her heart. When did Zhang Xiaoxiao get involved with Grandma Song? You must know that Grandma Song is not easy to be flattered by others, and she is always flattering and trying to please her. However, Grandma Song is always neither close nor close to her, neither cold nor warm. I didn't expect Zhang Xiaoxiao to have such a good relationship with Grandma Song. Seeing how they were talking and laughing, Grandma Song was not very kind to Zhang Xiaoxiao. What's the matter? I am the granddaughter-in-law of this family. Zhang Xiaoxiao came here. This is not because he is sincerely causing trouble for himself. Is it possible that Zhang Xiaoxiao did it on purpose? I returned to the living room upset, only to see the old lady already chewing dried peaches, happily eating them. Zhang Xiaoxiao smiled and pinched the old lady's shoulders. The man sat aside with a doting look on his face. What is strange is that Fang Xiaowai feels that this man looks a bit familiar. Who is this? In my impression, I have never seen this man before. Song's mother returned to the living room with a cold face, trying hard to force a smile. Mo Ting, when did you come back? Why didn't you come home? Your father and I are talking about you. This stepson is his nemesis and he never has a good look on him. Others are also acting as stepmothers, and I am also acting as a stepmother. Others are arrogant, but the stepson has to behave with his tail between his legs. It's better for me, but I just live like a doormat. Fang Xiaowai instantly understood that this was the second eldest son of the Song family. Song Mohuan's second brother, the son of his previous wife. Sister-in-law's favorite brother. In legend, the old lady and old man of the Song family take care of their eldest grandson. There was a sudden storm in my heart. Many people said that Song Moding was naughty and had a perverse personality, but they never thought that this Song Moding was really talented, just looking at his appearance. It is indeed good looking, and it is amazing at first sight. Furthermore, looking at his temperament and speech, it is not as if he is like what the outside world says. On the contrary, he is very calm and energetic. Auntie, are you saying this to yourself? That was my home. It wasn't long ago, right? After my mother passed away, didn't it become your home? I have my own home now. Besides, don't say that. I can't afford to care about anything. Doesn't my father only have one son, Song Mohuan? No. Song Moding seemed to be smiling but not smiling, and he was irritating people without discussing them. Zhang Xiaoxiao realized for the first time that Song Moding looked like this to his stepmother, which was completely different from the kind and gentle Song Moding they had seen. I feel sorry for Song Moding for a second. How much hatred and grievance is there to make a person resolutely put up his own thorns to fight against others? Okay, don't talk nonsense. I haven't seen you so filial in the past. What are you doing here today? If you have something to say, Just say it and leave if you have nothing to do. It's not like you don't know the rules you established back then. This is not the place for you to set foot. I'm not in the mood to talk nonsense with you. I also want to entertain my grandson and granddaughter-in-law. A bolt from the blue. Fang Xiaowai pointed at Zhang Xiaoxiao, Sunday daughter-in-law. Zhang Xiaoxiao? How can it be? How could Zhang Xiaoxiao be the granddaughter-in-law of the Song family? What about herself? Who was she? Mrs. Song held Zhang Xiaoxiao's hand affectionately. This is Zhang Xiaoxiao. Mo Ting married a new wife on the farm. This time they were admitted to medical school, and they will come back to stay with me. Zhang Xiaoxiao looked at Fang Xiaowai with a smile. Be surprised. Surprise. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 342. Chapter 342, Worrying is in vain. Xiao, you. Fang Xiaowai couldn't believe this fact, so she finally married into the Song family after all the hard work. Zhang Xiaoxiao did nothing and ended up marrying into the Song family. What's going on? This was not the case in her last life. Zhang Xiaoxiao was married on a farm. Married a man who had children from his second marriage, and that man died early. Zhang Xiaoxiao was the one who raised the man's 3 children. How come this life has become like this? Zhang Xiaoxiao also got married on the farm, but she actually married the second son of the Song family. Fang Xiaowai even wondered if she was hearing hallucinations or was dreaming. Could it be that what I thought about my previous life was all fake? Otherwise, Zhang Xiaoxiao in the dream and Zhang Xiaoxiao now would be completely different. Although his parents still doted on Zhang Xiaoxiao, there was absolutely no way Zhang Xiaoxiao would have such good luck. How is it possible to live like this, marry into the Song family, and even pass the college entrance examination to go to university? In his last life, Zhang Xiaoxiao Mingming worked as a country doctor on a farm. Fang Xiaowai was upset. What was going on? Did you make a mistake in this world, or something strange happened? In her last life, Zhang Xiaoxiao went to the countryside to replace Fang Piashong. In this life, Zhang Xiaoxiao went to the countryside for Zhang Lei. She really thought it was harmless. Whoever goes on his behalf will go to the countryside. There is no difference at all. She always thought it was because she changed the trajectory of her previous life, fell in love with the Song family, and was planning to marry into the Song family. So some things change strangely, and this trajectory is affected by your own changes. But who would have thought that the changes would be too big now, that he would marry into the Song family, and Zhang Xiaoxiao would also marry into the Song family, and even return to Kyoto. And it was also loved by Grandma Song. This is something she can't stand. How come Zhang Xiaoxiao can live a good life through the butterfly effect of her own changes? How is this possible? It's me. Zhang Xiaoxiao's eyes were filled with malicious teasing. Of course he knew what Fang Xiaowai was feeling now. That surprised expression definitely pleased him. Actually, to be honest, in all the lives Zhang Xiaoxiao has lived, Fang Xiaowai has never been included in his life scope. Nor did he regard Fang Xiaowai as his enemy or opponent, because there was no need. In my last life, I was harmed miserably by the other party. But, in fact, it was because she had brought it upon herself. In fact, all the traps and tricks were because of her own will, and she wanted to jump down. Otherwise, who can harm her? Fang Xiaowai did not do any substantial harm to her, they just ridiculed her and insulted her. And these are all things she asked for, and she will also bear a lot of responsibility if they are really investigated. In her entire life, she never wanted to have any intersection with Fang Xiaowai. It's a pity that God does not follow people's wishes. It seems that the two of them were sworn enemies in the previous life, and they will still fight to death in this life. It is really a ridiculous providence that the two people actually became sisters-in-law in this life and married two brothers. Grandma, she. Mom, this is Mo Ting's wife? She looks good. Your name is Zhang Xiao. Logically, Mo Ting should take you home, but I didn't expect this child to be so stubborn. One day you and Mo Ting will come home together, let's have a meal and meet your dad. Even though you don't recognize me as your stepmother, your father always kisses his father. Isn't it appropriate that you don't let your father see your daughter-in-law even if you marry her? Mother Song's gentle persuasion was totally unpretentious. But he wanted to drive a wedge between Zhang Xiaoxiao and Song Moting. How can a man who doesn't want to bring his wife to meet her parents want to live a sincere life with his wife? Song Moting snorted coldly. Zhang Xiaoxiao smiled and said, Auntie, no need, I heard, didn't uncle sever the father-son relationship with Mo Ting? Since the relationship has been severed, it doesn't matter if we meet or not. Otherwise, uncle and aunt will be angry if they see us. Mo Ting took me to meet my grandparents, and it was enough to get their approval. Don't try to use the reputation of her parents-in-law to pressure her, Song Moting made it clear to himself. There is no need to care about his father at all, even though he is a biological father. However, when he severed the relationship with Song Moting, he was no longer recognized by Song Moting. The old man and the old lady lost their temper because of this. Now that they think about it, they are elders. It was not a dream. Mother Song's expression changed. Song Moting actually told his wife such a secret thing. It seems that Song Moting really followed his wife and wanted to live a good life. Song Moting is really promising after marrying an educated youth and returning home. Okay. The little novel is right. The second son said that he didn't recognize Mo Ting as his son. Now don't show the elder's legacy here. Okay, what are you here for? Tell me clearly quickly, or else you this going around gives my old lady a headache. The old lady can't stand this daughter-in-law. Mother Song glanced at the old lady and said, forget it, just for the sake of the old lady's plans for her son, let's talk about this later. Song Moting avoided the matter of the quota for returning to the city. It seems that the people he told him were not used. The college entrance examination. Haha, it's really amazing. Mom, Mo Huan and Xiao Hui are going to have their wedding in 3 days. I'm not sending you an invitation. Besides, I just want to ask where is the right place for the children's new house. Hand over the exquisite invitation. The old lady frowned. What other invitations are there? Just make a phone call. It's not like I don't know that his wedding will be held in 3 days. Where is the new house? You parents don't know? Why did you ask about my old lady? The wedding is going to happen in 3 days, and you haven't even prepared the new house. It's not like your house isn't enough to live in. Each of you and your family is assigned a suite. Would it be enough to provide a house for the young couple to live in? Come and ask me about such a thing. The old lady feels that this daughter-in-law is getting more and more unreliable. Why do you ask her about this kind of thing? Is it possible that he is still planning to ask his old lady to prepare a new house for them? Fang Xiaowai was anxious. Why is the old lady talking like this? Didn't she prepare a new house for them some time ago, so why has she changed her mind now? Grandma, it's my fault. A few days ago, I heard from my aunt that you were packing up your new house and preparing the furniture for the new house. I thought your new house and furniture were for Mo Huan, so I told my mother. The old lady smiled and looked at Fang Xiaowai with a half smile. Does this granddaughter-in-law think that she can be forced into submission by just saying these few words? You listen to Auntie? Why is it that Auntie is in charge of the house now, or are you in charge? Who should I prepare a new house for, and what kind of things should I prepare for you? Fang Xiaowai was very angry. Why did the old lady do this? Song Mohuan was also the grandson of the old lady. Could it be that Song Mohuan is an outsider? No. Grandma, I thought. I don't want you to think that it's useless. I prepared a new house 2 days ago, and I prepared a lot of furniture. But it was for Mo Ting. Mo Ting suffered so much when he got married on the farm. I have said that when we are old and gone, all our things will be left to Mo Ting. No one needs to worry about it, and worrying about it is useless. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Lucky Bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 343. Chapter 343 Helpless Grievance. Mom, Mo Huan is also your grandson. Isn't it unfair for you to say that? I know you feel sorry for Mo Ting because Mo Ting's mother died early. For so many years, I haven't said a word about this matter. However, no matter how dissatisfied you are with me, Mo Huan will always be your grandson and a child of the Song family. How can you favor one over another? When Mo Ting gets married, you prepare the house and things. When it comes to Mo Huan, you don't care about anything. Song's mother was furious. Her mother-in-law was usually partial, so she couldn't say anything about it. Who let her original handle be in the hands of her mother-in-law and father-in-law? She has never been able to hold her head up in front of her mother-in-law and father-in-law. But so many years have passed. She has been working hard, so even if she is struggling, she should be able to get ahead, right? My own son has grown up. No matter what, this child will always be a child of the Song family. It's okay for the old lady to treat herself badly. But why do you do this to your own son? In the eyes of outsiders, is it possible that my son is not a descendant of the Song family? As such a big thing, he had missed his words and said that his mother-in-law had prepared a marriage house and thing for his son. At this moment, I suddenly changed my mind and let outsiders think. On that wedding day, I invited a lot of friends from all walks of life of the Song family. They were all well-known people. They all came here to let the old man and the old lady know about this. What should I think? What should you think about your sons and daughters, and how should they behave in the future? The old lady looked at Mother Song. Why did I do this? You don't know? Do you still need me to say it in front of the younger generation? Mo Huan is your son, and he can show off outside with the reputation of a descendant of the Song family. That's because your father and I don't want to involve our children with the hatred of our elders. But what we said back then was absolutely true. We only have one grandson, and that is Song Moding. The others are your sons and daughters, and they are just on par with us. Don't expect anything else. The old lady was not heartless. She wanted to be worthy of her dead daughter-in-law. The daughter-in-law held the hand of young Mo Ting and begged them. The daughter-in-law is the only child of her best friend. They were sorry for their good comrades and sisters and allowed her only child to die tragically. She and the old man will never get over that hurdle in their lives. This oath is what the two of them swore to abide by. From that moment on, they had only one grandson. Mother Song's eyes flashed with viciousness. The old lady is serious. She thought those words were just words said by the old lady and the old man in a moment of anger. After so many years, time can change everything. After all, these are the flesh and blood of the Song family. How could the old lady and the old man completely ignore the feelings of flesh and blood? But I didn't expect that the old lady and the old man were serious. It is true that you don't care about your own sons and daughters. Fang Xiaowai didn't know the inside story at all. I am dumbfounded now. The furniture in the house was all prepared for Zhang Xiaoxiao and had nothing to do with him. Didn't you say that Song Mohuan was the old lady's favorite grandson? This is the legendary love? Mom. Let's go. I understand what you mean. I hope you can come to the wedding in 3 days. After all, You are a descendant of the Song family. You should give the second son some face. Mother Song had to bow her head. She and Song's father were actually able to get so much care and resources through the old lady's name. To put it bluntly, without the old lady, they are nothing. No matter what, the old lady must come to the wedding. Otherwise, how will outsiders view the relationship between mother and son, and the relationship between them and the old lady? Such a relationship is of great importance. My son has already entered the medical system. Many old-timers take good care of their sons because of the old lady's face. You must not cut off your relationship with the old lady at this time. The old lady cannot be allowed to distance herself from them at this time. After so many years, I am used to being wronged. It doesn't matter if I am wronged again. It's just that Song's mother felt a little uncomfortable. The discomfort came from the fact that her daughter-in-law looked down at her today. The dignity of mother-in-law she had established was gone. The most important thing is that this incident was caused by the daughter-in-law. If Fang Xiaowai hadn't told herself that the old lady had prepared a wedding room for them, wedding furniture, etc. How could you have such an illusion? Things that have never happened before suddenly happen, and people always hold on to a glimmer of hope, feeling that the old lady finally sees clearly who she needs to rely on in the end. Who would have imagined that it gave her a heavy blow in the end? Everything the old lady did was for Song Moding. In the old lady, the old man only has one grandson in his heart. I used to think that partiality was a good thing, but when this favoritism is applied to others, it feels like a lump in the throat. Okay, I understand. I will attend the wedding. After all, he is the grandson of the Song family. I will not deny you and the second son face. Okay, you go. The old lady will not really get things done, even though she says she only recognizes Song Moding as her grandson. But she knows that these children are her grandchildren after all. Although she is not close to them, she will not be so heartless as to completely sever ties with them. It's just that they look down on their mother. In front of outsiders, she is still the old lady of the Song family, and she must give face to her grandchildren, sons, and daughters-in-law. Can't let outsiders see the Song family's jokes. This is life. You cannot completely rely on your own happiness and anger as your will. Song's mother turned around and left. Song Moding didn't say anything, and Zhang Xiaoxiao didn't even say anything. Fang Xiaowai glanced at Zhang Xiaoxiao with complicated eyes, and then at the old lady. Grandma. I'm leaving. The color of those dried peaches is a bit scary. You should be more careful. Some of them are imported, so you should be cautious. Some. She knew that it was a bit inappropriate for her to say this in front of Zhang Xiaoxiao and Song Moding, but she really couldn't bring herself to accept the old lady's favoritism calmly. This remark is not meant to sow discord. The dried peach does look quite scary. The old lady shook her head. It was true that one family did not stay in the same house. This Fang Xiaowai really looked a bit like her daughter-in-law. The two people think and do things in exactly the same way. No wonder the mother-in-law likes this daughter-in-law. Having too many evil thoughts may not be a good thing. I know, go back and prepare for your wedding. Grandma will be there on that day. Fang Xiaowai had a smile on her face, then turned around and followed her mother-in-law out. As long as the old lady appears at the wedding banquet, everything will be solved. After all, everyone is watching the movements of the old lady. As long as the old lady appears, it proves that the relationship between them and the old lady is very close. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 344. Chapter 344 Soft Nails. Fang Xiaowai catches up with Song's mother. Come to the car. Song's mother suddenly paused. Fang Xiaowai almost bumped into Mrs. Song. I didn't expect that things would turn out like this time. The misunderstanding has been caused. Looking at Mother Song's gloomy face, You can tell that she is very angry. If you are not sure, you will have to direct your anger at yourself. Mom, I didn't expect, why doesn't grandma like Mo Huan? Fang Xiaowai rolled her eyes. She couldn't say it was her misunderstanding. She could only say that the old lady didn't like her grandson. She didn't believe her mother-in-law had the nerve to say it. As expected, Mrs. Song's face turned even more ugly. How could grandma not like Mo Hung? You are overthinking it. Grandma has always been like this. She is very partial, especially Song Moding. You will understand in the future that this kind of thing happens often in our family. What Song Moding had, we Mo Huan may not have. And did grandma tell you that the house and furniture were prepared for you, and now they are like this? It was definitely too late to prepare the wedding room, and it's not like you didn't know that the furniture at home hasn't been put away yet, and it's all old stuff. Didn't you say that your parents have prepared a house for you, with all the furniture packed away? If that's the case, then treat it as your new house. After you get married, I will find someone to tidy up the house at home, and you will move back in. Set things up on the wedding day, at least not to embarrass yourself in front of outsiders. Song's mother was helpless. This is the only way to provide first aid. Thanks to Fang Xiaowai's biological parents, they had some thought and were fully prepared. Without the Zhang family to smooth things over, this marriage would have been troublesome. Fang Xiaowai was a little scared, she was not a fool. Her parents treated her very differently from Zhang Xiaoxiao. Their parents were also partial, but they were not partial to her. It was biased toward Zhang Xiaoxiao, who was obviously an outsider. If she had been certain that she was the one marrying into the Song family and that those things were prepared for her, she couldn't guarantee that now. Because today she found out that Zhang Xiaoxiao actually married into the Song family. According to what Fan Jiuying and Zhang Frank said, she felt it was very possible that those things were intended for Zhang Xiaoxiao and had nothing to do with her. Now I can't tell if I go back, it will be another lawsuit that slaps my face. But it was absolutely impossible for her to tell Song's mother this fact. She will be the one who is embarrassed then. Mom, my parents haven't said anything about preparing these things yet. When I go back and say it like this, it seems like the Song family is asking my parents for a dowry. When I say it, it's a bit. Mother of Song is such a face-conscious person, it is absolutely impossible for her to ask her in-laws for a dowry. Mother Song's eyes were sharp, and her daughter-in-law seemed to be quite petty. At this critical moment, we don't consider the overall situation at all and are still playing tricks on ourselves. Could it be possible that he thought he wanted to steal her dowry, which was just a house? If you want to allocate a house to your son, it will not take a minute. It's just that I was too anxious about the matter at the beginning, and Fang Xiaowai was interfering in it, which made me misunderstand. Otherwise, it would be like this now. At this point, I don't want to get over this matter quickly. I'm still being cautious here. I really don't know whether it is good or bad to marry this daughter-in-law to my son. You don't want to go back because you are afraid that your parents will think that the Song family is asking for a dowry. You don't have to say anything, but the day of the wedding will be in our house. There will be no time to paint anything, and there will definitely be no way to fix the furniture. Just you guys. Let's make it work, we parents don't have to worry about embarrassment. Mother of Song would not say anything forced. Anyway, she was not the one who would be embarrassed on the wedding day. You must know where her and Lao Song's status lie. No one would think that the couple did something wrong. Even if they just had a shabby home and married their son, who could look down on them? Who dares to look down on their son? At most, they will feel that they are thrifty, and they will be praised for their moral character. No one will find fault with this little detail. But the person who loses face is probably Fang Xiaowai. She shows off to others what kind of grand wedding she has, her husband's family values her, and her mother's family loves her, but in the end she can't get anything out of her. Anyway, she is not the person who is embarrassed. Fang Xiaowai said, she thought that if she said this, Mother Song would simply help them clean up in 3 days. I didn't expect that this dead old woman was more thoughtful than she was. She was trying to conquer her. Mom, whatever you do is fine, I will listen to you. At this time, the child must be bitten to death and cannot speak to his parents. If he speaks to his parents, this matter will inevitably be exposed. She would rather cover it up and hide it than let outsiders see her joke. Song's mother glanced sideways at Fang Xiaowai. Okay, as long as you don't feel wronged. Okay, I'll go back first. There are still a lot of things at home, so you can go back to the medical school. Mother Song was not willing to waste her car even as a gift. Get in the car and leave. Fang Xiaowai's face was ashen. This dead old woman didn't save any face for herself. She was getting married soon and had already asked for leave to rest. What are you going back to health school for? Who is married and still in school? Who hasn't gone home to prepare for their wedding now? This old woman is sincere. But what can she do? The situation is stronger than the person. The mother-in-law's background is too strong, and the mother-in-law herself is too strong. She has to ask her parents-in-law to protect her for many things. Without her parents-in-law, to put it bluntly, her own man is just a man who only knows about romance. He doesn't know what human relations are. Fang Xiaowai thought for a while, and now she can only go back to Fang's house. When you get married, you must marry from the Fang family. In this way, in the eyes of everyone, she, Fang Xiaowai, is still a child of the Fang family. Fang Xiaowai does not want to abandon the relationship between Mr. Fang and Mrs. Fang. Mr. Fang and Mrs. Fang have been notified. At that time, as long as the old man and the old lady attend the wedding and let others see the scene, it will be enough to prove that the Fang family is her backstage. Yehua and Fang Ziwen? This pair of parents will definitely attend the wedding, and they can't wait to get into the Song family now. This kind of opportunity was absolutely impossible for the couple to pass up, so she had no worries. However, Yehua does not have an overall view of the overall situation, and he will not live up to his reputation in order to fulfill himself. Let alone prepare a dowry. It is better to count on Yehua than to count on the Zhang family. You have to figure out the dowry yourself. Looks like I have to go back to Jiang's house. Even if you don't prepare a house or furniture for her, you should prepare some dowry for her. How can your biological parents not prepare a dowry for her? End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 345. Chapter 345. This home finally feels like home. Old Mrs. Song sent Zhang Xiaoxiao and the others out. Mo Ting, you can just take Xiaoxiao to live in our house. How can you be a son-in-law and live in your mother-in-law's house? That's not sincere and makes people laugh. And at the wedding the day after tomorrow, you have to be with me. Son attends. Old lady is in order. Song Moting shook his head. Grandma, it's not like you don't know that my dad will definitely be furious if he sees me. If the two of us meet each other, sparks will fly. Do you want me to ruin Song Mohuan's wedding? If so, I'll just go. How much do you dislike Song Mohuan? Counting on me to crash his wedding? He said with a smile. He didn't want to see his father, but also his half-brother. The two of them are not brothers. They have been enemies since childhood, and neither of them can see each other. The old lady sighed. Stop talking. If your father doesn't like you anymore, that day is Mo Huan's wedding. He will also restrain himself from making trouble with you. Besides, you and Xiao Xiao will be with me on that day. You father, how dare you look down on you in front of me? If he is not afraid that I will slap him, he will come directly. I'm a mother, why don't you think I can't him even though I'm old? You. Always so careless. Grandma asked you to attend the wedding, not because she wanted you to give face to your own father, or to give face to anyone. On that day all relatives and friends at home will come, including grandma and grandpa's old comrades and old friends. You are not young anymore, you and Xiao Xiao should start your own social circle. Grandma can't do much for you, so I'll take this opportunity to introduce you to everyone. These uncles and aunts, at least now, they still give grandma a face. If you become familiar, one day when grandma passes away, how many people will still take care of you for the sake of friendship? The old lady really has plans for them. Song Moding was speechless. He had his own pride and dignity, but he knew in his heart that grandma was doing this for his own good. At this time, he refuted the old man's face, just because of his own little pride, which would hurt grandma's heart. Zhang Xiaoxiao held the old lady's arm and said, "Grandma, don't worry. On the day of the wedding, the two of us will accompany you from here to attend the wedding. Grandma, you are so kind to us. I envy Mo Ting so much. There is a grandma who is so kind to him and plans and considers for him wholeheartedly. Who doesn't like being so obedient?" Even though the old lady did this for her grandson, she did it wholeheartedly without any intention of showing off. And he didn't need any gratitude from his grandson, but after hearing this, he felt comfortable. This granddaughter-in-law is not only good at talking, but also very smart, aware of current affairs, and more tactful than the grandson. In fact, both children are good children. Don't look at Zhang Xiaoxiao's cleverness, and he is a little more tactful in doing things. But this kid never follows the crowd. From this point of view, the old lady felt that her granddaughter-in-law was 100 times better than Fang Xiaowai. He is also the most suitable person for Song Moding. Seeing his wife's promise, Song Moding had no choice but to agree. "Grandma, don't worry, I will definitely go that day. I know you are doing it for my own good." The old lady nodded with satisfaction. "Okay, okay. Just be obedient. There are some things that we don't want to bow down to, but we just need you to think about it. If you don't use these resources, your father will give them to your brother. Think about it for yourself and don't do that. Something that makes loved ones sad and enemies happy." Song Mo Ting Waner. "Grandma, that's your son. Why do you turn into a hater when you open your mouth? If old Song heard you say that, he would probably hate my son to death." The old lady gave him a chestnut. "You still say? Who am I doing this for? Isn't it because of your righteousness that I am killing my relatives?" Song Moding hugged the old lady and said, "Grandma, we will move back to live with you in a few days. You can't be upset with us now." He didn't realize that grandma was old before, but now since he married Zhang Xiaoxiao and saw Zhang Xiaoxiao's behavior, he realized that grandma is actually not young either. It may die at any time. You have to be filial to your grandparents, otherwise you will really regret it. He doesn't want to have a son who wants to take care of him but refuses to take care of him. The old lady patted her grandson. The child had changed. "In the past, I looked gentle, but deep down I was indifferent, defensive about everyone, and full of resentment. Now I know how to be considerate and cherish. This is everything that love has changed." Zhang Xiaoxiao, this child has changed his grandson. Grandma is waiting for you to come back and live there. The rooms have been packed up for you. The house she bought for you is at the medical school. You have to go back today and don't have time to check it out. When you have time, you can see what is missing. Grandma will help you. Phil. Grandma in this courtyard is just to be close, knowing that you young people like to have privacy. She didn't like living with the older generation, so she specially found the nearest yard so that she could come to your house and make a living. Grandma likes the food cooked by my granddaughter-in-law. When the time comes, don't let grandma be upset. Zhang Xiaoxiao was surprised. This is a school district house. This house has always been priceless. In the future, in a place like northern Beijing where land is at a premium, this house will be considered priceless. The old lady gave them such a heavy gift now. How virtuous and capable are you? Mom has not paid attention to it these 2 days, but she also said that she would buy them a yard next to it. I took a look at it from a distance and saw that the yard was much newer than their house. It was a renovated new house. Looking at his parents tidying up, it was quite good. Both her mother's family and her husband's family are so kind to them. Sometimes Zhang Xiaoxiao feels a little ashamed of this love. Grandma, look what you said. Grandpa is not at home and there is no one to accompany you, so of course we have to live with you, isn't it, comrade Song? Song Mo Ting smiled, one look at his wife and she felt soft-hearted. Whatever the wife says is what she says. Look at Grandma, my wife is always looking towards you. The old lady was happy and slapped Song Mo Ting on the forehead. You don't need to tell me that, I already knew it. Xiao Xiao is sincere to us, unlike you, a little white-eyed wolf. I have raised you so much, and I have never seen you worry about your grandparents. Patting Zhang Xiao's hand, I know how you feel about this kid. Grandma understands it. To tell you the truth, your grandpa will arrive in Beijing tomorrow. Think about it, your grandson's marriage is such a big deal. What can you do if your grandpa doesn't come back? Okay. Besides, your grandfather has transferred his working relationship back to Beijing and the North Beijing military region. It's just a matter of words. With your grandfather's qualifications, he should have come back long ago. Doesn't this mean that you all will return to Beijing and I will occupy you? I ran back to enjoy the filial piety of my grandson and grandchildren. Your grandpa can say, but your peach wine has to prepare him. Zhang Xiaoxiao was cheerful, you tell grandpa, you can have as much as you want. Enough. The two chatted and laughed for a long time before leaving. The old lady looked at her grandchildren and daughter-in-law who were leaving, and felt warm in her heart. This home finally felt like a home. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Lucky Bag is Reborn with Space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 346. Chapter 346. It's time to improve relations. What's wrong? My son is about to get married. You come back with an angry face. Your nose is not your nose, and your face is not your face. Who has offended you again? Father Song asked, looking at the anger on his daughter-in-law's face. Although he was asking his wife, he couldn't take his eyes off the newspaper in his hand. You also said that your old lady is too partial. This partiality is too much. Song's mother picked up the teacup and drank a cup of herbal tea. The fire in her chest finally extinguished a little. The old lady's partiality is not something that happens in a day or two, and you didn't know it until the first day. Why don't you feel comfortable rushing to find it yourself? Song's father disagreed. His parents were too stubborn and old-fashioned. They had 3 sons, but none of them lived with them. It was not because the sons did not want to be filial. It's because parents can't see their son around, except that they like Song Mo Ting very much. Which of their sons have you seen? My eldest brother is loved by his parents, but he can't live with them after all. Who can cross Song Mo Ting? Let alone his own parents, the most invisible ones are him and his wife. The daughter-in-law is really bringing trouble to herself if she catches up with her. You think I'm unhappy because I want to find it myself? If your good daughter-in-law hadn't told me that mom prepared a house and furniture for Mo Huan, I really thought mom had changed her temper now. After all these years, this matter must eventually get over. The children have grown up, and the old lady is not afraid of chilling the children's hearts by doing this. It turned out to be a good thing, and I realized that the old lady had prepared the house and the furniture. What a pity, It was not prepared for our family Mohuan, but it was prepared for Song Moding. You have no idea how irritating what the old lady said was. Song's mother knew that Song's father hated Song Moding the most. The father and son had been quarreling a lot over the years, and it was a heated scene when they met. Moreover, her husband had ruthlessly severed the father-son relationship with Song Moding. It is also because of this that the couple have not been favored by the old lady and the old man in recent years. When Father Song heard this, he frowned. Okay, don't mention anything about that traitor. It's not like you don't know how rare the old lady is for that bastard. You still have to touch that traitor. If others are not prepared, we will prepare ourselves. It's not like you don't have a house at home. Such a big house is not enough for you to live in. If you think it's troublesome for the young couple to live here, I will call Director Lu tomorrow and ask him to allocate an apartment in the hospital. This is nothing. The young couple can just pack up and live there by themselves. What a big deal. Song's father was unwilling to mention this son. When he mentioned this son, he was filled with anger. This son is not his son at all. He was born to collect debts. In the bottom of his heart, this son thought that he had made his mother angry to death, and he hated himself to the core. Mother Song sighed, "Don't I know what you are saying? We are not incompetent people. How can it be difficult to buy a house? For a family like ours, a house is not a problem. I don't think it can be done. What the old lady values is the benefit to the child. In the future, if the news spreads, outsiders will also take a high look at the son. Our son is now an intern doctor. It's not like you don't know that if you go one step further, there will be no old lady to protect you. Just the two of us, with less than 3 or 5 years, can't go up easily. Those old people above, none of them looked at the old lady. As soon as I mentioned our son's matter, they asked the old lady to make a call. How dare I make a phone call? If I make a phone call, my secret will be exposed again. It's not good for the old lady to say nothing. Maybe our son is in this seat. Don't even think about getting promoted in 10 or 8 years. Who am I doing this for? It's not for my children." Song's father also knew that it was not easy to have a daughter-in-law. They were relying on the old lady's reputation. Otherwise, how could the couple have secured this position? The old man has been unwilling to talk to him over the years, and the relationship between him and his parents is also very cold. Looks like it's time to change all this. My son is getting older, and my daughter is about to enter medical school. When the time comes, we can't still be at such a standstill with the old man and the old lady. After all, the old man and the old lady cannot bow down to their temper. The only one who bows his head is himself. It is imperative to do this for yourself and for the sake of your children. Stop talking, I know this matter well. My eldest brother has already called me. Our dad will be back on the train tomorrow. Then I will go to the train station with my eldest brother to pick up dad. We must ease the relationship this time. I know how to do it." Mother Song felt relieved. As a daughter-in-law, she was not liked by her mother-in-law, so there was nothing she could do about it. But after all, Lao Song is the biological son of the old man and the old lady. It's so big, isn't it? Is there anything he can't make it through? After all, it's for an outsider. No matter what, it's impossible to hate your son for the rest of your life. Okay, I'll paint this room at home in the next 2 days. It's definitely too late for furniture and other things. Let the young couple live here first. When the time comes, you can allocate the house to them and they can clean it up by themselves. Bar. He will get married the day after tomorrow. Even if he has great ability, he can't help his son to reverse the situation now, and he can only wrong his own son. Song Moxon came in humming a song. Her eldest brother was getting married and she was admitted to university. For their family, this is a double blessing. It turned out to be good as soon as you entered the door. The house was in a mess, workers were painting in and out, and the floor was covered in white dust. Hutching her nose, Song Moxon asked her mother. "Mom, what are you doing? Hasn't Grandma already prepared a house for my eldest brother to get married? Why are you still cleaning it here? My eldest brother will get married the day after tomorrow. How can you live in the house if you tidy it up like this?" Mother Song looked at her little daughter and smiled bitterly. "I'm choking you. You start going back to your grandma's house today. Who is your eldest brother that your grandma prefers? The house is intended for Song Moding to live in, not for your eldest brother. Hurry up. Clean up, otherwise your eldest brother won't even have a new house after getting married, so he won't be laughed at. Where will the bride be taken? Could it be that the bride is taken to the street? I feel sorry for my daughter." Song Moxon was startled. Why is Grandma still like this? She's still so partial. What's so good about Song Moding? He always looks weird when he sees people. Even my dad doesn't recognize him, but Grandma is still protecting him. He doesn't know what he's trying to do. She was angry. What was wrong with her elder brother? Among the brothers and sisters of the Song family, who could the grandparents like? With the exception of Song Moding, who else can see it? The uncle's house, the brother and brother of the third uncle's house, which one is not angry in his heart? Whoever sees Song matting is all the itchy teeth. Who wouldn't be upset if one person robbed everyone's favor? Song Moding is the only one whose surname is Song. Are they all outsiders? Okay, that's your grandma. Do you speak like that? Remember what your mother said, and speak to your grandma properly when you meet her. Grandpa and Grandma, after all, they are grandparents. No matter what they do, they are still there. My own opinion. It is not right for you to be a granddaughter when you are a child. Mother Song was afraid that her daughter would not be able to carry it properly. The old man and the old lady were not just anyone, they were counting on them. Song Moxon nodded. "Mom, I'm just saying this in front of you. It's not like I don't know the identities of my grandparents. How can we question them? She is not stupid. The reason why she does so well outside is not because she is the granddaughter of the Song family. Grandpa and Grandma are placed there, and people only take a high look at them. If it were really on their own, it would be impossible for her and her eldest brother to have a place in this circle." End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 347. Chapter 347, Growing Up. Song Moxon returned to her grandma's house, which was the compound of the health bureau. As soon as he entered the yard, he saw his good friend Wu Fei. "Wu Fei, you are finally back for the new year. Let me tell you, my eldest brother is getting married the day after tomorrow, so you must come." Actually, Fei Wu is several years older than her. Originally, they couldn't have been growing up, but the Wu family is different from theirs. Both families are considered big names in the medical field, but the Song family only has the old lady. But the Wu family is different. The Wu family's father, wife, uncle, aunt, and brothers and sisters all work in the medical field. And all of them are leaders in the medical field. Wu Fei has a natural sense of superiority. When she was a child, no one in this compound would not look at Wu Fei's face. She followed Wu Fei, and slowly turned from a little tail into Wu Fei's good friend, and she didn't always have the element of fawning on her. Wu Fei looked unhappy when she saw Song Moxon. Twist her little nose. "You invited me to your brother's wedding, but you still have this attitude and look unhappy. What's the matter? Are you not willing to invite me?" Song Moxon sighed and complained. "Sister Wu Fei, why are you not happy to invite you to my eldest brother's wedding? You don't know that I can invite you to my eldest brother's wedding. Isn't that just making my eldest brother look good? What I'm not happy about is that Song Moding has invited you to my eldest brother's wedding. Return. It's not like you didn't know that as soon as he came back, he took away all the love from your grandparents. I'm totally dissatisfied with him. Wu Fei was stunned. Song Moding is back. Then Zhang Xiaoxiao should also come back. Song Moding is also back. It seems that he should have brought his wife back. Is he coming back for a permanent stay this time? Or is he just coming back for a break? Will he attend the wedding day? Wu Fei was severely educated by her parents when she returned home, and she also understood that sometimes her temper was really spoiled. Song Moding and Zhang Xiaoxiao were really kind and righteous to her that day, and he was still angry at others. Why was there any need to lose his temper? You have to look at people even if you are arrogant. She was reluctant to be criticized by Song Moding and Zhang Xiaoxiao that day, but looking back, she realized that the only people who could help her at that time were Song Moding and Zhang Xiaoxiao. She should really be grateful for people helping her regardless of past grudges. She just couldn't get over the hurdle in her heart sometimes, and when everyone saw her, there was no one who wouldn't fawn over her. But it happened that Song Moding had grown up with him since he was a child, so he just couldn't see her. He got a wife who has the same bad temper as him. Actually, sometimes she just has a temper tantrum and wants to confront her. Honestly speaking, she is really not a bad person. Now that I heard that Song Moding was back, I really wanted to meet Zhang Xiaoxiao. In any case, I owe Zhang Xiaoxiao an apology. And from the bottom of her heart, she envied Zhang Xiaoxiao. Zhang Xiaoxiao had a kind of pride and confidence that she had never had before. Zhang Xiaoxiao does not have a prominent family background, but he can live like himself. Everyone likes life, and life becomes the favorite in everyone's heart. From this point of view, Zhang Xiaoxiao is more successful than himself. Who knows if Song Moding will go? It's not like you don't know that he has a bad temper and likes to fight against my dad and my eldest brother. I guess he won't go with his character. How could he bow to us? Attending my eldest brother's wedding would not cost him his life. Song Moxon and Wu Fei parted ways, and their families were not in the same building. Wu Fei smiled and waved her hand. Come over to me for shopping in the afternoon, and the two of us will choose a wedding gift for your eldest brother. Knowing that your eldest brother is getting married, I can't go empty-handed. Song Moxon thought that if Wu Fei went, it would represent the attitude of the Wu family. It is only good for the eldest brother and has no harm. Who are you? You are my eldest brother's and I's childhood friend. If you go there empty-handed, it is also to give him face. If he dares to find fault with you, I will help you deal with him. By the way, otherwise you also tell your uncle and aunt to go together. I will send the invitation in a moment. The Wu family is not something they win over easily. Only the Wu family is picky about others, and the Wu family is also proud. Disdain this kind of entertainment. Wu Fei shook her head. I don't know if my parents have time. It's okay for you to send the invitations, but if they have surgery by then, I'm afraid they won't be able to go. It's not like you don't know how busy the two of them are. The surgery appointments are almost scheduled for next year, and the two of them have quickly turned their 24 hours into 48 hours. My parents don't know yet. Song Moxon smiled and said, I'll send it to you anyway. If my uncle and aunt don't have time, forget it. If they have time, I will definitely appreciate it. Two people break up. Wu Fei entered the house and saw her grandfather in a daze. What happened to Grandpa? Why are you sitting alone in the living room in a daze? Where is Grandma? The old man saw his granddaughter and smiled and said, as I get older, I always think about some past events. I'm not just sitting here alone. Your grandma is alone in the room and angry. Go up and comfort her. Wu Fei smiled and agreed. The old man and the old lady must have been quarreling again. The old couple behaved like children at every turn. Go upstairs and open the door of Grandma's room. Sure enough, Grandma was lying on the bed with her back to the door, showing a typical angry expression. Mimi quietly touched in, walked behind Grandma, and stretched out her paws, trying to scare the old lady. Fifi is here, don't scare your grandma's old heart can't bear the thought of you scaring her like this. The old lady had long recognized that the footsteps were those of her granddaughter, and she also understood that it must be the dead old man down there who sent his granddaughter to comfort her. The old lady sat up, and Wu Fei saw her grandma dumbfounded. Grandma was such a tough old lady, and it only took a while for the two of them to get angry with her grandpa. But this time was different. I saw Grandma's eyes were red, as if she had been crying for a long time. Why is Grandma crying? What did Grandpa say, what did he do, and how did he offend Grandma like this? Grandma? What's wrong? What did my grandfather do? Tell me. I'll help you vent your anger. Her grandmother has been the closest to her since she was a child. Her grandmother raised her, so she is willing to talk to her about anything. The old lady shook her head. You can't help Grandma with this matter. Your grandpa has a stubborn temper and will never change it in his life. He won't be finished until he makes me mad to death. Wu Fei coaxed the old lady and talked for a long time, and finally a smile appeared on the old lady's face. Wu Fei was relieved. After lunch, Song Moxon came to her and sent her an invitation. Her parents are not here, and she doesn't know if she will come back at night. The two of them went directly to the street to pick out gifts for a long time. Wu Fei bought a pair of watches as a gift to the newlyweds. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 348. Chapter 348 Past Events. Wu Fei took her watch and went home. It was late today. Looking at the watch, it's already past 10 o'clock. Grandpa and Grandma should be sleeping. When I got home, sure enough, the lights in the living room were all out. Wu Fei walked upstairs quietly, fearing that the wooden floor would wake up her grandparents. Old people sleep lightly. Go to the door of my grandparents' room and listen. There was indeed no sound, it seemed that he was asleep. Wu Fei tiptoed to her room. Old Wu, are you so cruel? Wei Guo is your most beloved son, and now that he has become like this, we have an unshirkable responsibility. He will be released from prison tomorrow. If your parents and relatives don't go to pick him up, what should he do? The old lady's voice was filled with pain. Wu Fei had a meal. Favorite child? Who is he talking about? It seems that my uncle is called Wu Weiguo. Over the years, my grandparents, including my parents, have never mentioned my uncle. When their children asked about it, the answer given by my mother and father was that my uncle went abroad during sports and never came back. Wu Fei also always thought that her uncle had gone abroad and was an existence that could not be mentioned. But how does it become a release from prison now? Is it possible that the uncle did something bad in the first place, or else Grandma wouldn't be able to say that? You still said. Don't you know what that beast did? He got together with those people, and even performed operations on those people. You knew that such people deserved death. You know what he did? What is the nature of the matter? Rebel. The reason why he was not sentenced to death is because of the leniency of the government. Do you think that if you take him back now, he will change his ways? It's not like you don't know that I told him several times to hand over the list. But he just refused to pay. He is so stubborn and incoherent, he is not my son at all. I do not have such a crazy son. Maybe he is unjust. He said he didn't do it. Why don't you believe him? You are his father, and you don't even believe him. Who can help him? Was he the only one who happened in the first place? It's his fault. In that environment, there were many unjust and false cases. Who knows if he was really wronged? The old lady's voice suddenly rose. Wu Fei is confused. What are you rebelling against? Mom, it's not what you think, isn't it? My uncle is not rebelling against the country, is he? No wonder no one, including my parents, grandparents, and even my uncles, mentioned this matter at all. This matter is too big. Even if he was unjustly accused, why didn't he mention it? He explained that if he was unjustly accused, he could just provide evidence to prove that he was not unjustly accused. But he kept silent. I talked to him several times. He is just silent. If a person is not guilty, silence is acquiescence. How do you think I don't want to help him? How many times have I told him sincerely? Then you can't just leave him alone now. He is out of prison. If no one at home will pick him up, why don't you let him sleep on the street? I tell you, he cannot be in this family as long as I am in it. If he does not figure things out for one day, he will not be able to return to this family, and I will not recognize him as my son. It's useless for you to lose your temper and fight with me. Let me tell you the truth. My old comrades and friends have analyzed this matter with me. In all likelihood, your son is a sure thing. It's not what I think. Giving up on him means that he doesn't want to change at all and he has no repentance. But you have never thought that if you take him home, there may be family members who care about him and warm him. He will feel that he wants to enjoy the family relationship now and continue to live like this, and he will put the things you wanted to do in the past. He confessed what he had not confessed. Isn't it him who has suffered the most in these years? Isn't it him who has paid the most for this family? Wasn't it him who was the first to step forward on the line between life and death? The old lady was very excited. Wu Fei clung to the wall and listened quietly. You can take him back if you want, but I don't want to see him. The old man replied in a deep voice, is this already a concession? The old lady sighed, I know, you don't want to see him. Let him live in our old house. Is that okay? You can do whatever you want, I'm sleeping. The room became quiet. Wu Fei took a long time before walking back to the room. My chest is pounding. I didn't expect that their family had such a secret. Others thought that his grandfather's eldest son had died long ago, and outsiders did not know the details. She also thought that her uncle had fled abroad. Naturally, she could not tell outsiders about this kind of thing, so as not to implicate the family members. She was still thinking, how could the organization not know about this kind of thing? Now I realize that this is not the case at all. Why did this uncle go in the first place? Hearing this meaning, it must be a huge impact. He will be released from prison tomorrow, so the uncle should see him tomorrow. Early the next morning, when Wu Fei got up, the house was quiet. Wu Fei didn't know when this uncle would come back, but she couldn't stay at home like this forever. She was going to go to Songmoding and apologize as soon as possible. Naturally, she had to pay back the debt she owed. Besides, I actually really want to see Zhang Xiaoxiao. Although this woman has never given her a good look, she still really likes this woman's temperament. I just like people who are not afraid of power, behave decently, and are upright. The most important thing is to bully others and not be lenient at all when others fight back. When encountering strength, be strong. Wu Fei found the address of Zhang Xiaoxiao's home. How come there is the address of Zhang Xiaoxiao's home? It goes without saying that it is not easy for her to check someone out due to her parents' energy. What is shameful is that she originally found this address to retaliate against Zhang Xiaoxiao, but later she really reflected on how terrible she was as a person. Under the beating from her parents, Wu Fei finally felt that she should be a normal person. She cannot use her power to oppress others, and using her power to bully others is not what she, Wu Fei, should do. I asked the driver to take me to the alley where Zhang Xiaoxiao's home was. Looking at the narrow alley and the dilapidated bungalows around it, I really understood in my heart that Zhang Xiaoxiao was really from the bottom of the family. It is different from the girl I imagined. Although she came from a lower class, the confidence and arrogance in other people's eyes made her feel ashamed. I don't know how Zhang Xiaoxiao was raised by his parents. Standing outside the yard, Wu Fei hesitated. Being so reckless, will he be embarrassed when he bumps into Zhang Xiaoxiao? With a personality like his own, when two people meet, it will definitely be like sparks hitting the earth and sparks flying. But here we are. If I don't do this today, I feel sorry for myself. With so much education from her parents, Zhang Xiaoxiao did owe others a favor. She felt that she would not be able to feel at ease if she did not repay this huge favor. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Lucky Bag is Reborn with Space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 349. Chapter 349 We Must Be Friends. Zhang Xiaoxiao hugged the quilt and looked worriedly at the two thick quilts in his arms. Mom, I really admire you. A big quilt weighing 5 pounds of cotton. You didn't know that such a heavy quilt would crush someone to death. The weather in northern Beijing is not that cold. Complainingly, he went out and walked into his own small yard. Fan Jiuying's voice came. Let you hold a quilt, and you will complain about this and that all day long. You also know that Ziyi is getting married soon, and I have prepared some dowry for her. If you don't distinguish them, what if the wedding givers bring the wrong things? What should I do? Fan Jiuying is cleaning the house. Fang Ziyi is getting married tomorrow. Fang Ziyi called just now and said she was coming over. Fan Jiuying naturally knew that her child was getting married tomorrow. Today, they should take away the dowry they prepared for their daughter and give it to their children. The couple also discussed it. As for the dowry, they prepared a lot of it, at 1,000 yuan. In this era, 1,000 yuan is not a small number, and many people cannot save it for several years. It's not because of Zhang Xiaoxiao's blessing. Knowing that Fang Ziyi's in-laws are capable and don't lack this little money, they just prepared what they should prepare. With Fan Jianxi's help, I bought a washing machine, a tape recorder, and some blankets, quilts, towels, etc. Logically speaking, the dowry given to their daughter is quite large. The things prepared for Zhang Xiaoxiao are also placed here. Fan Jiuying is afraid that these things will be mixed up. Let Fang Ziyi see whether she is giving or not. I thought she, as a mother, was treated differently. From the bottom of her heart, she did treat her a little differently. Fan Jiuying bought Jiang's small things with her own hands. Fang Ziyi's things were brought over directly from her younger brother. However, Fan Jiuying felt that she was worthy of this child. This amount of money used a small part of Jiang's money. I knew there was no reason to use Zhang Xiaoxiao's money. It seemed that it was the couple's money, but the money they had planned to leave to Xiaoxiao. So in conclusion, Zhang Xiaoxiao's money was used. Fang Ziyi, don't be so picky. As soon as Zhang Xiaoxiao went out, he was holding two such thick quilts. When he went out, he couldn't see the road at all. He bumped into the person on the opposite side and the quilt fell to the ground. Zhang Xiaoxian sighed inwardly. It's over, this is another piece of chicken feathers. Wu Fei did not expect that Zhang Xiaoxiao would bump into her. Looking at the quilts on the floor, my heart tightened. Zhang Xiaoxiao wouldn't think that he was deliberately looking for trouble. Zhang Xiaoxiao apologized and looked up. He must have missed the road. I'm sorry, I didn't see the road. Zhang Xiaoxiao was stunned when he saw Wu Fei. Yo! Is this going to cause trouble? How did you come? When Wu Fei heard it, she thought it was really Zhang Xiaoxiao's style. Not soft at all. Zhang Xiaoxiao, I came to see you. I didn't expect that. I stood at the door and blocked your way. I'm so sorry for causing you to fall. Come, let me hold the quilt for you. These two quilts are a bit too big, you hold one and I hold one. Where are you sending me to help you? With that said, Wu Fei hurriedly picked up a quilt from the ground and patted the dust on the quilt. Zhang Xiaoxiao didn't react. While looking at Wu Fei suspiciously, he picked up the remaining quilt on the ground and dusted it off. Since some people take the initiative to help, the free labor does not need to be used in vain. I don't know what this person wants to do this time, to make trouble for himself? You came to see me, what's the matter? Zhang Xiaoxiao went to the yard not far away. Song Moding went to the street to go through the procedures. The two of them had to transfer their household registrations to the school. Opening the courtyard door and putting the quilt into the room, Zhang Xiaoxiao took a breath. Wu Fei smiled and said, "What do you think I'm here to do with you? I guess you think I'm here to cause trouble." Zhang Xiaoxiao smiled, "I didn't expect that you are quite self-aware and know your impression in other people's minds. Listening to what you said, it is definitely not looking for trouble. Then why are you coming to me? We are not friends." When people say this, it proves that they don't have this intention. Those who are looking for trouble would not say that. Wu Fei grabbed Zhang Xiaoxiao and said, "Zhang Xiaoxiao, you and Song Moding saved me last time. I haven't formally said thank you to you yet, and what happened in the hospital, that's my fault, I'm sorry. I can't move, just get mad at the eldest lady, you don't owe me anything, on the contrary, it's me who should owe you." Zhang Xiaoxiao smiled and looked up and down. "I didn't see it, Miss Wu, how could you say thank you and say sorry? It really impressed me. How did your parents educate you when they went back this time? How could you start over again? Talk. Look at how you speak. What does it mean to be able to speak human language? I used to speak human language too. I knew you would say that to me." I said, "Zhang Xiaoxiao, why can't you be more polite to me?" Wu Fei rolled her eyes, feeling uncomfortable being criticized. Zhang Xiaoxiao was happy, "Why should I be polite to you? First, you are not my friend. Second, we have no friendship. Third, you also said that you only owe me a debt, but you don't. I owe it to you. From what point do you think I should be more polite to you?" Wu Fei is speechless. Yes, everything they say is the truth, but I am really speechless when I say it. What can I say? What others say is wrong, but what they say is absolutely correct. Okay, Miss Wu, I also received your apology, and I also accepted your thank you. We won't have much interaction in the future, so you go back and live your life well. Don't offend the river, you go. Your Yangguan Road, I'll take my single plank bridge." Zhang Xiaoxiao also knew that he made Wu Fei feel uncomfortable, but he couldn't do anything wrong by asking her to accommodate Wu Fei. She is not Fang Ziyi, and she doesn't have that bad habit. I don't expect Wu Fei to do anything for him. "Zhang Xiaoxiao, do you particularly dislike me?" Wu Fei didn't understand. When Zhang Xiaoxiao saw her, he wanted to drive her away immediately. What did he do? "Miss Wu, we are not friends, and there will not be many opportunities for us to interact in the future, so whether I like you or not is not important to you. Neither of us is RMB. To put it bluntly, it is impossible to let everyone like. Besides, our friendship has nothing to do with whether we like each other. It's just that they have different paths and don't work together. You are a superior young lady, I am just an ordinary person, I just want to live my ordinary life." Zhang Xiaoxiao kept Wu Fei at arm's length. Wu Fei was discouraged, she was almost in a low mood, but the result was not good. "Zhang Xiaoxiao? I. What are you?" "Zhang Xiaoxiao, I did do a lot of things wrong in the past, but I quite like your character. You are straightforward and don't follow others' influence to seek power and wealth. I want to be friends with you, the kind of friend who truly cares about you. I'm not asking you to accommodate me, nor am I asking you to fawn over me, I just want to be friends with you. Over the years, I actually have a lot of friends, but they are more or less based on my family background, and no one is really friends with me. I have only met someone like you, who made no secret of your disdain for me and your contempt for me. But I'm such a bitch. When I see you like this, I really like you and want to be friends with you. Sigh, I sometimes don't know what's going on with me. Could it be that this is the kind of thing that is best if you can't get it? Zhang Xiaoxiao was also amused. Miss Wu, you eat a lot of fish and meat all day long, and suddenly you feel very fresh when you see my porridge and side dishes. In fact, if you stay with me for a long time, you will definitely feel impatient. I am not a good person at all. He's not lovable, and he doesn't speak well. It would be a great grievance for you to be with me. Have you decided to be friends with me? This friend of mine never tells lies. 1 is 1, and 2 is 2. He may be the kind of person who can quarrel with you in just one sentence, but you can't pick him off the wall. I wish I had never been a friend. Zhang Xiaoxiao didn't know why Wu Fei insisted on falling in love with her. It's okay, just hit me if you want. If you hit me against the wall and I can't pull it off, I can hit you too. Wu Fei actually became happy. Zhang Xiaoxiao was speechless, he really had a masochistic constitution. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 350. Chapter 350. Are you my biological mother? I'm sure, I just want to be friends with you. Wu Fei pulled Zhang Xiaoxiao and showed her true feelings. Zhang Xiaoxiao is really helpless. This is a kind of naughty child. Miss Wu, what kind of friend do you want to be with me? I have to go back and help my mother work now. If we are friends, is it possible that you also want to help me work for my mother? This is a deliberate attempt to embarrass Wu Fei. I guess I know that this young lady does nothing at home on weekdays. She just wanted to let this person know about the suffering in the world. You also need to know that there is no benefit in being friends with an ordinary person like her. She cannot eat, drink and have fun with her all day long. Wu Fei smiled proudly and said, "Don't underestimate me. Even though our families have different backgrounds, my parents don't spoil their children." Your parents are like this and still can't spoil their children? How can you call them spoiled children? They have spoiled you into such a temper. If my parents saw your behavior in the hospital that day, what if it were me? Zhang Xiaoxiao was still indignant when he thought about it. If you are misunderstood and have no feelings or ideas, then you are not a fool. Wu Fei said sarcastically, "I've already apologized, but you can't always hold grudges like this. Are you still bringing up old scores? Stingy." Zhang Xiaoxiao shook his head, "This is called nature is hard to change." Wu Fei also realized that she might have a problem with her speech and pursed her lips. "Zhang Xiaoxiao, when the two of us were friends, we just replayed everything in the past and treated it as if nothing had ever happened. No one can hold on to the past forever. Although I have a bad temper and am spoiled, a bit of a young lady's temper. But I sincerely want to be your friend. You can't always be so stingy. I look at you and you are very kind to others. Why don't you say a word to me?" Zhang Xiaoxiao smiled maliciously, "Just look at the fox's tail after just 2 sentences, and let others give in to you at every turn. We are friends. We are not in a superior-subordinate relationship, so why should I give in to you, huh? Those friends of yours just let you go at every turn. That's how they spoil you. All right? If you treat others fairly and justly, and respect others, others will treat you the same way." Zhang Xiaoxiao also understood that for Wu Fei's temperament, being able to get along with him like this was already a big concession. But she still doesn't understand why Wu Fei is so eager to be friends with her. Be friends, just be friends. If Wu Fei respects herself well and the two of them get along peacefully, Zhang Xiaoxiao is also willing to have one more friend. But if Wu Fei thought about being the eldest lady here and looking for a sense of presence, she was probably looking in the wrong place. The two people enter Zhang Xiaoxiu's courtyard. Mom, why are you doing this to me? Don't think I don't know that you and my dad prepared a yard with all the furniture, things, and electrical appliances in the yard. It cost 8 to 9,000 yuan. How did you get mine? When did it become like this? Am I your biological daughter? Why are you so nice to Zhang Xiaoxiao, but you are so nice to me, giving me such a small amount of things as a dowry? You clearly know that I married into the Song family. How do you want my mother-in-law and father-in-law to see me? Fang Xiaohuai's voice made Zhang Xiaoxiao pause. Wu Fei also paused. Who is this? Sister Zhang Xiaoxiao? You child, the dowry your parents prepared for you is definitely worthy of the name. You yourself also know how much the dowry is for marriage. Now your parents prepared a dowry for you, which cost at least 1,000 yuan. A small amount of money was used in this money. Why don't we treat you as our own? It is because you are our biological daughter that your parents have prepared so many things for you. When your eldest and second sister got married, your parents didn't prepare any dowry. At most, I only prepared a few quilts. Your eldest sister didn't even have a penny for dowry, but you have already prepared so much. What else do you want us to do? Fan Qiuying was extremely angry. This daughter seemed to be here to collect debts and did not understand their feelings at all. Nor do they care about their parents' abilities. Mom, don't tell me whether you have these things, eldest sister, second sister, then they haven't caught up with the good times. But what's going on with Zhang Xiaoxiao? When she gets married, you prepare the yard and things, spend so much. The money is 8 or 9,000, right? Why does it cost 1,000 yuan to come to my place? You favor one over the other. The problem is that Zhang Xiaoxiao is not your biological daughter at all. You never thought about how it hurts my heart to treat her like this. You are old and don't need me to take care of you. Fang Xiaohuai was very angry. Speak as hard as you want. Fan Qiuying was furious. I tell you, Zhang Xiaoxiao is our daughter. Even if she was not born by me, she is our biological daughter. Do you think these 8 or 9,000 yuan are our own money? This money is Zhang Xiaoxiao's. Family grows ginseng on the farm and everyone gets a share of it. Zhang Xiaoxiao gave your parents 10,000 yuan for our retirement, and also gave some money to each of his brothers and sisters. What's wrong with her parents giving money to others and spending it on her? Let me tell you, the dowry money you are spending now is very small, so why do you have the nerve to tell me here? You are going to compete with Xiaoxiao. As for what you said today, I tell you that your father and I have never counted on you. When you need us, you come back and call your parents to make love. When you don't need us, you don't show up for months. You don't regard us as your biological parents. How do you want us to regard you as our biological child? People compare their hearts to their own, and people's hearts change their hearts. If you don't treat others sincerely, how can you ask others to treat you sincerely? If you feel that this dowry is embarrassing to you, well, don't take it. Anyway, you have never been regarded as a member of the Zhang family. Aren't you still using the surname Fang? Open and shut your mouth at every turn, saying that you are from the Fang family, and for your future, we said nothing. We are parents. All you can do for you have been done. We are ordinary workers. We are not families with wealthy cotters. We can't put out those money for you to install faces. It is small. It's not that we are partial, it's because Xiaoxiao regards us as her biological parents. Do your best for us, think about us all the time, and think about your sisters and brothers. What about you? You keep saying that we are biological parents, and you feel that we treat each other differently and favorably. But what about you? What have you done for us? In addition to coming back often to ask us for money, he would get angry with us at every turn. What other things have you done that a biological daughter should do? Your dad and I were sick. Did you come over to see us? Did you take care of us for a day and bring us a glass of water? Mom, you and my dad are sick, when did it happen? Zhang Xiaoxiao interrupted. In his previous life, his mother fell ill and was hospitalized this year. The problem is wrong. I gave my peaches to my parents. In theory, it should have an effect and any problems with my body should be cured. Besides, I brought a lot of dried peaches when I came back just for my parents. How could I still have physical problems? In this life, my parents will never suffer again due to illness. Fan Qiuying looked at Zhang Xiaoxiao and forced a smile on her dark face. It's okay, it's just a minor cold. People who eat whole grains will not get sick, it's just a minor illness. End of this chapter.